Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace. This is Dear Woke Christian. This is going to be a one and done today. And hopefully we can keep this thing with under 10 minutes because it's just such a dumb topic that I really don't believe that I have to talk about it. But first of all, shout out to the podcasters here in Atlanta called Hardly Initiated. Recently, and Hardly Initiated does podcasts centered around male and female relationships, dating, so on and so forth. They have a very popular platform. Shout out to those brothers over there at Hardly Initiated. They're here in Atlanta, and they're doing really good stuff. So shout out to that. They've had some great interviews, and I'm going to react, however, to one of their interviews that they had recently, Umar Johnson. And the reason I want to talk about this is because first of all, I don't believe that Umar Johnson is as profound and prolific as people like to project him out to be. I don't believe that. I do believe that he says some things sometimes that do that seem to be well received, and that's cool. But he says things that are so bombastically racially charged a lot of the time, it wouldn't get a pass if a white person said it. And that's usually my litmus test. If somebody says something is that out of pocket, if a white person said it, then a black person shouldn't say it. Then a brown person shouldn't say it. Other people shouldn't say it. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't think like that. But even worse than that, Umar Johnson speaks about two topics in this little clip that we're going to look at that he has zero authority in these two spaces. And those two spaces are family and church. I have no idea why these brothers ask him that. Truly, I don't even know why they're asking him about dating at all. But I pulled this clip out and I want to talk about it. So with no further ado, this is going to be a one and done, by the way. So we're going to get this done and we're going to go get y'all out of here. Looks good. Let's have some fun. Let's go.
Let me ask this question here because, I think this is a very important part of our platform. We've brought a lot of people up from, the Christian background. Okay. We brought people up from Muslim backgrounds. Okay. And I truly do, because we talk about all aspects of relationships, and your spiritual belief systems are connected to your value systems. I believe they are. That's why those, spiritual leaders, bringing them up are vitally important, are prominent and can bring some real gain to the conversation. True. But see, I want to talk to you in particular about the Black church in general. Okay. Because I know you've had some, perspectives and opinions about it. Just in general.
Why do I want them to shout out to the brothers Hardly Initiated? My name is Jason. I live right here in Marietta, Georgia. Have me on your show so I can talk about being a chef at a 4-star, 5-star restaurant. I want to talk about that. Or have me on your show and talk about deep sea scuba diving recovery. I want to talk about that. I got some experience with that. Well, clearly they would not have me on the show to talk about those things because I'm not a 5-star chef, because I'm not a deep sea scuba diving instructor or whatever of that nature. Why in the world would you ask Umar Johnson about the church and he's not a Christian? I'm just saying, because and the reason I say that is because you're going to see very quickly his answers show you he has no idea what the church is supposed to do. But let him show you.
As far as the Black church and the role that is currently played in where we are economically, relationally, with our families, do you feel like it should have, or it has played the role that it should have played?
Not since the assassination of Dr. King.
I will say that since King actually shifted the purpose of the church away from its actual mission, because this young man right here talking about economics and finance and all these other things is not the purpose of the church. It's not. You see nowhere in scripture that is the purpose of the church. And I think it's fair to say that if God wanted the church to be doing that, he would make it very clear and demonstrably clear, this is what the church is supposed to be doing. It's not. So let us continue.
Dr. King was assassinated and buried a few days later here in Atlanta, Georgia. The Black church, out of fear, retreated from the front lines of the struggle, and it reinvented itself away from being an organization of agitation to an organization of accommodation.
Where's the church told to do any of that? Agitation, accommodation, retreating, withdrawal, advancing. Where are we told to do that? Why are you actually listening to Umar Johnson?
Now the black church accommodates the agenda the white power structure has for us. Before we fought. Now, let's go have a cup of tea with the president. Let's go have a cup of tea with the government and see if we can get a couple crumbs from what he's about to do. Although what he's about to do is going to destroy our community. You see that? There's no more fight in the black church. The black church is more parasitic and exploitative of the black community than the Chinese stop and go.
I'm going to push back in a couple of ways. Umar Johnson is just as bad and just as parasitic as anything else that he points his fingers at. And I will talk about that in a moment. But because he doesn't understand what the purpose of and the mission of the church is, he's going to, in a moment, he's going to speak so negatively about it because all he can understand is right now, right here. And he doesn't understand what the purpose of the church is. But let him prove that.
In the Latino bodega. The difference between the Latino bodega and the Chinese stop and go and the Walmart and every place else we shop is at least you get something for your money. What do you get back from the black church when you invest? We give the black church $3 million every Sunday collectively in this country. Show me a black church with a supermarket.
Okay, real quick. Is that now? Umar Johnson has a big problem about the fact that black church, as he calls it, receives donations, contributions, and such of that nature. I think it's very interesting. Umar Johnson has, and we'll talk about his school in a moment. He spent a lot of time, better than a decade, trying to get a school started with no staff, no students, and no support or backing whatsoever. So you must realize that part of his issue with the church is that they're probably not supporting his ideas. They're probably not supporting what he wants them to do. And in a moment, he's going to say what churches should be doing if they bring in a certain amount of money. This is what they need to be doing. Watch this.
For the people. Show me a black church with a bank for the people. Show me a black church with a manufacturing and distribution network to hire our men and women. Show me a black church with a black school that children who are not Christian or Muslim or Hebrew can go to.
But is that the responsibility of the church, though?
It was.
That's a great question, my guy. That's the question on the table. That's it. And I think, I don't know the faith systems of the hosts for Hardly Initiated, but that is a dope question. Let me back it up just a little smidgen because I want to hear that again. Right there. Let's go.
That children who are not Christian or Muslim or Hebrew can go to.
But is that the responsibility of the church, though?
It was historically. Why did it change?
No, it wasn't. No. This is one of the things. Umar Johnson thinks in a collective mindset. Education of children is primarily the responsibility of the family. The church did, in fact, help a lot with education because, of course, reading the scriptures. But the primary goal, the primary educators were the family, the mother and father. And then we talk about all these other things, financial literacy, mom and dad. All of that would have come from the family. Of course, the community and of course the church would contribute, but the main issue, the main ones is the family. Listen to what he's saying.
The black church was the one-stop shop for us from the time we showed up in America. We buried our dead through the church. We got hired through the church. We fought the KKK through the church. We did our politics through the church. Everything you needed was in the black church. So it made sense for you.
So it came through the family first and was coalesced and brought together in the church. Sir,
to spend all your time at the church because the church was everything. They still want us to spend all our time at the church. And what are they doing for us? No institutions. $3 million a Sunday and no institutions. That's highway robbery.
Mr. Shoemaker, you don't have any institution, sir. But I think it is preposterous that people still platform Umar Johnson and they know that he's a scam. They know that he's a grifter, but they keep platforming this man. For better than 10 years, this man has been going around talking about starting a school, collecting funds, bringing in money, so on and so forth. He secured a building and gives you live streams from the building talking about the HVAC system and the water and the plumbing and the security system and this, that, and the third, and for better than 10 years, and nothing has gotten done. Nothing has gotten done. But he sure can bop around and be on the Joe Budden podcast. He sure can bop around and be on Hardly Initiated on the Breakfast Club. I think I've counted 7 times since he announced this school, he's been on the Breakfast Club. That's crazy. And nobody holds his feet to the fire and say, hey, where is the school? Jermaine, where is it? And you know this, the dude is on TikTok burning it up. He on TikTok all the time, right? Watch this. This is something to think about. Next time you watch him on TikTok, it doesn't take long. You'll find him on TikTok. Count how many times you see him with staff people and teachers and educators, and when he introduces you to the principal of his school or the admin staff or the custodians, for crying out loud. Anybody. When you see him with anybody who is working for this school, let me know. DearWokeC@gmail.com. You will not, because he doesn't. He doesn't have anybody. It's a scam. It is a whole full-on scam. And so he can busy talk about the church all day long. And he is the arbiter of what churches should do, which I think is very peculiar, that he can tell churches what they should be doing. But watch this. He himself can't do what he's doing, what he's talking about. And I'll prove it.
If you really care about doing the Lord's work, why are you so comfortable with your people living in hell?
Why are you, sir? Why are you? All this talk that you're talking is falling on deaf ears because we can't hear you, because we're echoing off that empty building that you say your school is in. We're echoing off the fact that, and he's going to talk about it in a moment, you talk about family, sir, we can't hear you because you got 2 baby mamas and 2 women that 2 baby mamas and 2 children that you're not married to and you don't have, that you're not involved with. Sir, we can't hear you.
That's interesting, because I think that's a lot of pressure to put on the black.
And yo, again, shout out to Hardly Initiated. This is not a slight on them. I've seen quite a few of their videos, and they're not bad. Not bad. They're not my shtick, but that's okay. I think this guy is really bothered by the fact that I'm going out on a limb. I think he knows what the church is supposed to be doing. And listen to what he says right here.
Black church.
And I only put it on churches who have a net income of $250,000 a year. If you're bringing in less than $250,000 a year, I will accept you doing some good for the community.
Who are you?
I'm not expecting you to build a bank, a school, a hospital, or a supermarket.
Who are you, though, Jermaine? Who are you to say, oh, if the church brings in $250,000 a year, they should do X, Y, Z, and that's what the standard that I put. If they bring in less than that, they don't have to do what my standard. Who are you, sir? Who are you? My goodness, in the morning.
But if you netting 250,000, and if you a mega church,
you know what? Though I disagree with the mega church system, and again, he's going to name 2 of them, and they're very egregious. No argument for me about how egregious these 2 institutions are. But Jermaine, you don't have a stake or lot in this argument, so therefore you don't actually matter. Nobody cares what you're saying.
You a mega church, Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes. If you a mega church and you ain't got no institutions for the black community, come on, man. You're an exploiter.
So what's the ideal? Give me the ideal picture that you would like to see.
Nobody cares what he would like to see. That's the thing. The church is not the black church, the white church, purple, yellow, green church. It's Christ's church. So really, nobody cares what Jermaine thinks. Let me just be honest. Nobody cares. However, I do want to let him tease it out, because again, I think he's asking some good questions.
Even let's say a mega church.
I would like
in the community.
I would like the mega church to have a Black Wall Street. And what I mean by that is those 4 institutions: a clinic for the people, whether they're Christian or not, they black; a school for the children, whether they're Christian or not, they black; a supermarket to feed our people fresh food coming from the black farmers. Okay. And also a bank to invest in our people so we can get this entrepreneurial spirit up, because there's no jobs.
I just wonder this is just a thought, just a question. I know almost every single historically black college university is in a predominantly black neighborhood. Does he hold the same standard for them? I'm just wondering. Now, I do think that churches should be involved in the community. Nobody's saying that otherwise. Jermaine Shoemaker is not going to be the standard, though. Nobody cares what this guy is saying as it relates to what churches should do. I don't care. If you are doing missions, if you're doing feed the homeless, if you're doing coat drives, if you're doing community gardens, I don't care. This guy right here is not the standard at all. And my don't care, because again, I don't even think he realized, well, I know he doesn't realize because he hasn't gotten to school together, the expenses that go into actually keeping property. Like, I don't think he even knows what it's like to insure a church. I don't think he even understands what it's like to deal with utilities and those things of that nature. So he's just a scammer. I'm just going to say it again. Jermaine Shoemaker's a scam.
Left in America, we have to help Black people create jobs for themselves. We have to become, Black America is going to have to go full-time entrepreneur.
Wow.
No more jobs. They're giving everything to the migrants. The migrants are in America to replace the Africans. This is the purge. Absolutely.
Do they have a role and a hand?
So again, notice Jermaine Shoemaker's ideology is strictly horizontal. It has nothing to do with what spiritually we've been told to do or what the purpose of the church is, what the church actually does. Who are people that are in the church? None of that stuff is even understood by him. Let's go.
In the outcome of where we are as far as our families are concerned?
Who?
And I do think this one was a softball. I don't know why he asked this man about family.
The church.
I would say yes, and I'm going to tell you why. The Black church caters to the Black woman. And the reason the Black church caters to the Black woman is because the Black woman is the provider. She has more income and education than the man. So they're looking at this financially. They also have a vested interest in her never getting married.
Whoa.
The pastor is the metaphorical husband of all the single women in the community. I'm not saying he's sleeping with them. I'm saying he
can go on and have that. I disagree. I understand what he's saying. And there's definitely some room to tease that out as relates to the role of single women in the church. There's totally, absolutely. And there's lots of reasons that and lots of discussion that could be had. But again, the purpose of the church is not what he's saying because he doesn't know.
Keeping them so distracted with Jesus that they never find a husband. And that's the way he wants it to stay. Because if she finds a husband, she won't have as much time to be donating to the church all the time.
Wow.
So the Black church benefits from single motherhood. They don't want our sisters married because their pockets would go down.
So what about you, sir? Like, just take that clip and juxtapose it on anything else that he said when he talks about family. Because remember, he has 2 baby mamas, so there's 2 children out there without a dad. Why are you not showing improving, sir? Why are you not doing that? Why are we even asking you about the church when you're clearly outside of it? I don't understand this.
Is this all church or just the Black church?
Well, there's always
in particular?
exceptions. Well, I don't care about the white church because that I'm not thinking about that.
But why are we even asking him though?
Us. I'm talking about us. It's not every church. There's exceptions to every rule. I know good Black pastors. I know good Black churches. I speak in Black churches all the time.
That's
But
a shame that they let you
exceptions
speak in
don't negate the
churches.
rule, though. You find a snake that don't bite. That does not negate the fact that most snakes are going to tear your ass up if they get a chance to. You feel me?
I got
Yeah.
you.
And most Black churches are exploitative and do not serve the needs of the community. How your church is in the middle of a ghetto with all these problems we got, and you're not addressing a single one of them.
I'm going to go on a limb. I mean, I can think of at least 3 pastors that I don't even agree with theologically that are deeply involved in the community around them. But please keep in mind one more thing. The goal of the church is not primarily to resolve the issues that are in the community. They're to deal with the people of the community and allow them to deal with their issues outside of the church. Because again, he thinks in a collective mindset, in a socialist mindset, whereas instead of looking at individuals and their problems, that's why he can completely duck and shirk over when people ask him about why is he not married? Why is he not doing these things? He can completely ignore those things and talk about the community. He can talk about the collective rather than the individual sitting right here that is demonstrating hypocrisy right in front of us.
Black church takes 3 things from black people we can't afford to waste: too much damn time, too much damn money, and too much damn hope. We don't need hope. We need an agenda for change.
But we don't. That's the problem. We don't need, I think it's funny because at no time will he admit that he has sold them a bill of goods. At no time will Jermaine Shoemake actually say, hey, yo, I done sold these people a bill of goods, man. I'm not doing anything more than flying to the moon. But nope, he won't admit that. Of course not. It is what it is. Anyway, I just thought that was very interesting. Shout out again to the brothers at Hardly Initiated. I got no beef with them. I hope that they see that. I hope you rather see that this video is just meant to discuss Umar Johnson and why was he even asked those questions about the black church and family when the man himself doesn't have a family and he's not a member of a church? I mean, now the video, the whole conversation is like 3 hours long, and maybe I'll bring in some more clips from there as well. But I thank y'all so much for tuning in today. This is going to be a one and done. I'm finished with this. Anyway, in the meantime and in between time, thank you so very much for your support. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. We're out of here.